right? Because I have 5 kids and my oldest one's 23, right? So the relationship.
Does the audience know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I tell my story. So the relationship I have with the 23-year-old is different from my youngest, who's 10, right? I'm parenting my 10-year-old. My 23-year-old, I'm mentoring, right? I'm just there as a guide. Like she'll come and be like, yo, dad, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I'll be like, all right, these are your options. You make the decision, right? I'm always there to support you, but you have to make decisions for yourself because you're moving into an age of independence that I'm not going to be there to rely on, right? I'll be there to support, but you're not a dependent anymore. You're independent, right? And I think like you said, a lot of parents have a hard time with that transition where this is my child, they'll forever be my child. Yeah, they will, but the relationship's different now, right? My daughter comes to me and says, Dad, I want to do A. Okay, cool. Go ahead. Have you thought about the pros and the cons? Like, well, what can happen? Yeah. Okay, go ahead then. I'm not parenting. No, I don't want you to do that. It's my house. No. Right? You have to live your life, right? I don't want to cripple my child to be dependent on me forever, right? So it's that's how life is, though.
I think that's an amazing point. Like you just described. Sorry, I hit the mic.
It's all right.
But you just described the transition there, that holistic approach to parenthood, where because that's just that you're so right. Like the drop off is when that child grows up, and you see it all the time. Fathers don't know how to talk to their daughters. I mean, like you gave a beautiful example, but fathers know how to talk to their daughters, and sometimes worse yet, don't even know how to talk to their sons. Sometimes it's like war with their sons. Like it's time to compete with this guy now because this guy is here, but they don't know how to step into that role of like okay, this is a boy who's probably going to be better than me at a lot of things.
But that's what you want. Like I have a son, he's 21. I want my son to be better. I want my son to be better in every aspect than I was. Everything that I touch, I want my son to be better than me. Like I will be successful if he's better than me. If he outshines me, great. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm just his stepping stool to greatness. Like that's it. So like me and my son, we joke all the time. I go, yo, you're not stronger than me yet. Push him back a little bit, we wrestle, and he's like, all right, you're getting kind of strong, okay, but you're still not stronger than me yet. The time he gets stronger than me, I'm not fighting that. He's gonna be stronger than me. You know what I mean? If he's better than me in anything, I play drums a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's way better than me in drums right now.
Yeah.
And I take so much pride in that. Like, yeah, that's my son. He's better than me. Yup. People are like, yo, your son's better. Yeah, absolutely. I would be like, why would I want to keep him down? Like I'm his stepping stool. Use me to get to greatness.
Yeah, keep him down just because, oh no. I have to be the man.
No.
I have to be the best in this house. I'm the king. Crazy.
And I think that's why a lot of sons don't respect their fathers. Right? My son has a great deal of respect for me because I'm not trying to hold him down. I'm trying to elevate him. But he knows I'm still dad. So you have to have a level of respect for me, right? But because he knows I'm not holding him down, that respect is already there, right? He's like, my dad is looking out for me. He wants, okay, Dad, what do you need?
Yeah.
I say it and he's like, all right, Dad, I'll do it.
Yeah. It's crazy because, I mean, like there's a rediscovery of like masculinity and manhood now. And it's because like, up until this point, a lot of the narrative has been beating guys down and not allowing guys to just be men.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And sort of shelling you into this acceptable boyhood that doesn't, react when naturally whatever's going in the predominant narrative is not going to line up with what's happening in homes real time. And I think it's amazing that you say that you don't fight your son. He doesn't fight you because you're not trying to hold him down.
Yeah.
As men, we have this thing inside of us where we're built to be protectors. We're built to go out there and challenge things and to invent and to just find ways out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is especially apparent. There's a quote where it says, hard times breed hard men. Hard men, they bring good times. Good times make soft men.
Yeah.
And soft men make hard
times. Yeah. Yeah. I
and
heard
then the
that.
cycle repeats itself where those hard times create hard men. And I mean, I wouldn't say there's necessarily creation of anything. It's more inside of a man. As you transition into manhood, there is always something that's trying to challenge the status quo of who you are, what
Yeah.
your limits are, what you can do. And sometimes that expresses itself in your career choices. Sometimes it expresses itself in a situation where, you know, you're trying to work out and get bigger. Other times it could express itself where they're being held down.
Yeah.
And that wakes up that part of them that's just like, this is crazy. I need to fight, and there's only one way out of this, which is fists, as
Yeah.
I'm going through. And when you said you're moving yourself out the way, are you like literally, as you go about your everyday leading your son, you lead him in a way where it's, I'm ushering you to the next step. I'm not going to prevent you. I'm not here to, you know, try to steal, shine, or up, you know, one up you. No. That's not why we're here. The mission it is for you to be stronger than me. Now, there is a part of that transition that we were talking about in the break. I shouldn't even say that. There was a part of the transition that we were talking about where, you know, internally there's the I and then there's the we.
Right.
So as a person goes from childhood into their adulthood, there's always that understanding of that duality where they understand who they are as a person,
Right.
but then they also understand who they are in relationship to the world around them. And when that transition happens, if I'm getting the point out correctly, and that person who's in that supporting position, that boy now becomes a man, and that man has surpassed you and literally crushed all of your limits.
Yeah.
What happens to the relationship at that point?
But you have to look at it in terms of like how life is, right? There's a saying, once a man, twice a boy.
Okay.
Right. As we get older, we're going to become dependent again. Right.
Okay.
Whether it be on our children or somebody to take care of us. Right. So for me, when I look at it, how I'm raising my children, they're dependent on me. Right. And then there comes a point we kind of coexist. Right. Where I'm not dependent on them and they're not dependent on me. Right. I'm their safety net at that point. If they stumble, if they fall and they need me for anything, I'm there, right? But I'm just there as a safety net and a guide and a mentor. You know, I'm not doing the direct parenting where it's like, I want you to do this because I want you to, and you're going to do it, right? And then as we transition to my later years, it's going to be I'm going to be dependent on them, right, to kind of take care of me or guide me in a way that, you know, I'm going to be vulnerable at that point. So I think the I and the we are always there. How it looks in different stages of your life, it changes, just based off of where you are and where they are. So when I say like I want my children to be better than me, it's I want them to be in a position that I've never reached, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't affect the we in our relationship because they still know that dad is dad, mom is mom. We have that relationship.
Yeah.
Right. But they also know that I'm going to be transitioning away from this relationship. So it'll look different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The relationship I have with my 23-year-old does not look like it did when she was 12.
Yeah.
Or 14 or 16. Even.
Yeah. And you didn't approach it with that point of view that, oh, this relationship is always going to stay this way.
No, that's the thing. I'm very, very, I'm a realist. I know what's going it happened to me. Like, you know, me and my mom, we don't have the same relationship.
Yeah.
We're more like friends now.
Yeah.
Right. My mom, I have a high respect for my mother.
Yeah.
Right. West Indian. So I have to have that high respect for my mother.
Yeah.
Right. But just on her being such an amazing person, the respect's there.
Yeah.
But we talk as like friends now.
Yeah.
You know, I would never ever disrespect her. It's a friendship. That came from how she raised me.
Yeah.
Right. So she raised me. I was dependent on her. And then when she knew when I got to a certain level, I wouldn't be dependent on her.
Yeah.
So I approached it knowing that it would happen to me. It has to. Right.
Yeah.
So when I became a father, I looked at this child and said, one day this child is going to be grown.
Yeah.
And not need me the way that she's going to need me right now.
Yeah.
So I made sure I gave like all my time, all my effort into getting her to be responsible, respectful, just pouring my morals and values into her so that I could start her off on the right path. And when she's on that path, she's on her own journey.
Word.
right? And that's my approach to all my children. I just try to give them the best of me,
Yeah.
to develop them into a better version,
Yeah.
right? And then they have, the aspects of their mother, and they take that and they make their better version, right?
I like that.
I think the downfall of a lot of parents is, like you said, they don't really think their children are going to grow up. they think that relationship's going to stay the same forever,
Yeah.
and it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's very well put. Like, put simply, they never think that the relationship, that parent-child relationship, will ever end.
Yeah.
And they think that the parent-child relationship is supposed to look like a parent-child relationship,
Right.
when it's two adults talking.
Yeah, two adults, right? Especially if I don't live in your house. Like, how are you going to tell me
Yeah.
what to do when I have my own family over here?
Yeah.
Right? So you have to be aware of that change.